Hey, what is going on? My name is Carlo.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Lucas.
Welcome, Lucas. First time reviewing with us.
Yes.
Welcome to
Thank you for
Media
having me.
Reviews, Westworld.
Thank you for having me.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but one person is missing. But before we get to that, Nick chose the beer tonight.
So, it's finally the Shogun World episode. I know Carlo's very excited. So we went with a Japanese beer, Kirin Ichiban. It's not bad. As always, we look for a cool picture. There was 3 options. This one had a cool picture of like a horse dragon thing. So I thought we'd go with that one.
It's actually not that bad. I actually like the taste.
I think it's
I
delicious.
like Kirin.
And Lucas, not wanting to drink out of one of our cups. Lucas, do you want to share what you brought?
I brought an authentic hollowed out horn mug, which I bought at the Renaissance Fair this year, to show Carlo what a true drinking vessel looks like.
Wow.
To make it...
And it begins.
This is what a mug looks like. And this is television. And so you want to have something that looks nice, not something that looks like... Now it actually looks like you're drinking a drug test sample that you took back.
Oh, we're back to the urine jokes. All right. You're in trouble now.
Okay.
I miss Jasmine. I miss Jasmine.
Before we started,
Wait.
I said you better... I won't do this.
I'm just saying, Carlo says he misses Jasmine. To make Carlo feel better, let's do a little Jasmine callback, shall we?
Oh, gummy bears!
We'll do that every now and then whenever we feel like we don't have another Jasmine. Just in case you missed it, the Jasmine callback.
Oh, gummy bears!
Ugh.
Just so you guys are aware, she's over at... where is she at?
EDC?
Yeah, Vegas.
EDC, Vegas, so that's the reason why she's not here. But it's fine. Anyways, so to tonight's episode, what's the title? Akare.
Tonight is Akane No Mai.
Akane No Mai.
To make it easier for Carlo, we've been calling it Akane Matata. Just seems more his speed.
I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so when they introduced, you know the name of the Indian world that they had?
Yeah, Raj World.
So Raj World, when they introduced Raj World, it was a nice refresher for the show. But for some reason, I don't know, I might just be biased. It's probably because I'm biased. But is it me, or it's refreshing to see a different take on it? Because Raj World was a little too similar to Westworld in a sense, where it's, other than Raj World was like, I guess a little bit about a safari.
So, so the park that we just visited, Shogun World, where they literally had the exact same storyline running, and doppelgangers of the characters we know.
We've already run into a problem because we're at Shogun World and you're still complaining.
Well, I think we have a clip of them walking in Westworld, and
Walking in Westworld or walking into Shogun World?
the Westworld one first, of them being tied up with the horses. I guess
No.
not. Okay, so walking into Shogun World.
Okay, 1 second.
Well, anyways,
confused me.
Well, while we're pulling up the clip,
There it is.
so the nice thing about this is, I guess, because it's in a different time period versus Raj World is, in my opinion, too similar in terms of building wise, ambiance to Westworld, is the fact that it's new, if that makes sense.
It felt culturally different, whereas Raj World still felt like a bunch of white people running around.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, if you think about it, like, in Raj World, it was literally where, for lack of a better term, rich people walking around and shooting guns and trying to hunt animals or whatever.
That world, though, that they built is supposed to be a world built around when Great Britain ruled over India. So that was the world at the time, and that's when those safaris led by Indian people and the elephants and all that. So that was happening. I mean, I get what you're saying, that it's a little too similar in that it's kind of like modernized kind of stuff going on. But yes, white people are still in charge.
I get
not to interrupt the awesome discussion, but just technical thing. I do want to welcome Mary Poopins to the chat.
Yo,
Mary Poopin.
There might be something weird going on chat-wise, because I'm not sure his comments are coming up on the main screen.
Oh, well, can't fix that
But
now.
it is what it is. So we'll just read long distance
Sup, y'all?
He said, "Sup, y'all." Then he said, "Wow, my pun." And it looks like he says Lucas' reaction is best.
Yeah. Okay, so, well, in any case, I think it's... So, Rajworld and Westworld felt kind of like if you went to Disneyland and you just went to a different section of the same park. Versus Shogun World felt like you were going to Epcot.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
You know what I mean? There was enough difference there where it felt refreshing. That's what I was trying to get at.
I see. Okay.
I mean, if you guys feel any different, then...
I apologize for making it a race thing. Should not have been a race thing.
I said white people first, so it's okay. It's okay.
It's all, but okay. Let's go down this race path. It is refreshing, in another way because it's feudal Japan, and as an Asian American trying to make it in entertainment, it's nice to see a lot of Asian actors on screen and that Asian culture be appreciated.
Okay, so speaking of, this is gonna come way out of left field, but you mentioned earlier on in the episode how in the very beginning there were a lot of dicks when they were like...
It was an inordinate amount of dicks.
Funny that you bring that up when there's no jazz here.
For
two reasons.
when they're pulling the dead hosts out of that containment center or whatever it's called.
Wasn't that was they're pulling the bodies off of the beach.
But there were no Asian nudity either in this episode.
I think this may sound like a racist comment as well, and I'm sorry. I think the only Asians that we saw in Westworld were the Chinese hosts building the railroad, because they were trying to go with that like historical weirdness of that was the Asians in the West building the railroad, which I don't know how accurate that really is, but stereotypically that's what you think of when you think of the West.
Makes sense.
But yeah, I know, I know that going into this season, they did say that they were going to pull back on the nudity, right? Was it pull back on the nudity or sex? Because
there was
they're
sex in this
really ramping up the dick in this season. And today it just took like an exponential turn.
Is this really what we're talking about today?
Well, he brought it up, but we got to finish.
There was a full...
really got to finish.
Westworld.
Sorry.
Westworld, you got to make a decision. Are you not going to do sex, or are you going to do sex?
Well, he did bring up a valid point, though. I mean, there was just one scene where it was just full of dicks, and there was like one chick in the background lying on a table, and that was about it.
We should.
There was even a sex scene between Dolores and what's his face, where they didn't even show anything.
All right, it's time for a scene transition.
Oh, gummy bears!
All right, moving on.
All right, anyway, so enough about my ideas. What do you guys think of tonight's episode?
Well, I'll say I enjoyed the idea of there being like these doppelganger characters and learning that Lee is just kind of a lazy writer who just writes the same thing in every park. And he's just like, whatever, no one's going to know.
Well, you try writing 300 stories in a span of 2 weeks.
It was very entertaining to me. And then I know you had something that you found particularly entertaining.
With the song?
Well, no, with the dragon and the snake.
Oh, yeah, when the ninja attack happened, I noticed there was a moment when they're looking for Dragon Lady and Snake Lady, and they come down the stairs and they're like, nope, no one's in the bedroom. And I was like, oh, those two were definitely scissoring. while like shit's happening, and they were like, nowhere to be found. But as soon as their presence is noticeably gone, or they're not there.
I liked the Maeve Akane connection, and I was wondering if we were going to find out that Akane at some point had any of like the cool powers that Maeve had. Because if she really is just like Maeve, why couldn't she somehow become similar to Maeve? Or if Maeve is just a unique case?
I would say that she would then have it in her, but I feel like Westworld was the world that started everything, So Ford would only pick Maeve as the one that's supposed to break out. So he would only pick one host that's supposed to stir the pot, because you only need one to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now her ability to gain free will is probably better if her programming is at all similar to Maeve's. I think like I said, her ability to gain the free will is probably going to get sped up now that Maeve is a part of her world, so to speak.
Well, because her in that world, since her daughter technically, or taken in daughter, whatever you want to call it, adopted daughter, is now spoiler alert dead.
Sakura.
Sakura. Well, she joined Maeve's cause because prior to that, she didn't want to get controlled by Maeve or freed by Maeve. So now that she has no ties, will she join Maeve's cause, whatever that may be?
I don't see any reason for her not to.
But Maeve's cause is only to find her daughter, right?
For now.
But she doesn't need an army for that. She needs a sidekick.
Her real cause is to break free of this world.
But that's part of her narrative that's written.
See, because so going into the Maeve versus Dolores aspect, it seems like Maeve wants to break free from this world and just get out. Similar to what Teddy wants Dolores to do. Dolores just wants to see the world damn burn. Going back to the question, who really has free will? Who has the soul? I'm really pushing that I think Maeve does, and Dolores is just going along with it because she just wants to see the world burn. Versus Maeve actually cares. She understands her actions. She was talking to that writer dude, what's his name? Lee. About if I'm just code, why do I care about saving people or saving hosts?
Well, that's what you're touching on is kind of like the base of the show, right? It's about consciousness, free will, what else? The human spirit, that kind of stuff. And so when you talk about Maeve versus Dolores, Maeve realized that she was set on a path already, and her choice to go back in and save her daughter, that was like just a form of free will.
Yeah.
So she doesn't have any views of the world otherwise. Like, she hates it, but she's focused. Dolores, this whole concept of her being a host inside this man-crafted world, like, crumbled inward on her. So that's why she wants to see it burn. It's kind of like these different philosophical viewpoints of what free will is, or what you do with free will in your conscious. And once you find out you're conscious, like, there are humans that say, if this is all I am, then fuck everything. That's a very like nihilistic point of view, and that's what Dolores is.
And that would certainly explain some of her actions this episode.
Right.
Pretty messed up what she did to Teddy there. And I'm going to show that clip because I have some questions about what exactly this guy is doing to Teddy. Does anybody have any ideas?
No, but I do have a side question. If he can just reprogram people like that, couldn't he just reprogram Dolores the same way that he did to Teddy?
I don't think he could, but I don't think he's going to get close.
I mean, it's one of those things where Maeve or Dolores is still a host. She's still connected to the network in some shape or form. If he can reprogram Teddy, that means Teddy's also connected to the network.
Yeah.
Out of anything, I would say that he would not be able to program Maeve because she's just evolving in a way that we still don't understand. Dolores, on the other hand, hasn't shown any other way that she's evolving other than that she knows what's going on.
Well, she is like in this state where she thinks she's like the most evolved, because the fact that she wants the world to burn means that she's the most evolved. She understands everything, and that this is too fucked up, and this all needs to go away.
Well, hey, what's going on? Paris, I don't know how to pronounce your name, dude. Sorry. They say, I feel like Dolores represents a judgment on humanity in general.
Right.
And Mary Poopin says maybe he just got wiped.
I think she's making him become submissive. She did not you could tell when they walked in that scene when they walk into Sweetwater again together and he says home sweet home, that pissed her the fuck off. She did not like that when he called it home sweet home.
Doesn't she dislike that he's submissive? Maybe she's making him more aggressive and angry.
I think it's in between. Still submissive because obviously she's like this general that's top of the world. You don't want anyone to obviously question your actions, but make Teddy this monster of instead of being so passive aggressive. In the last episode, he let that other general run away.
Mm-hmm.
He's in this case get Teddy to the point of you're not gonna question
Sir Gregor Clegane status, the mountain status.
Yeah, you're not gonna question my decisions,
mountains.
basically.
Yeah.
When did you know Teddy was doomed this episode? Because I knew. I think it's this one right here. Nope, not this one. No, but this was the beginning of it because when they're in this scene together, it was like, why do they go here?
Well, they were.
What is she doing here with him? She's on the last round kind of tour of, hey, let's go back to all the nice places where we had some good moments because then I'm going to mess you up.
Mm-hmm. Well, throughout the whole episode, she was there, or the show was foreshadowing what was going on. In terms of, okay, you know what? Teddy was going to die. It was through maybe 1/3 of the episode, I'm like, all right, I'm just ready for Dolores to shank him. Especially when it came to the end, when they were at the bar right before they wiped him, I was like, is she just going to shank him? Or even the scene before that where they were about to, make love.
In this scene, when she touches his cheek, to me, I was like, oh, she's going to kill him. This is so condescending of oh, you're stupid.
I actually have a note on here that just says Dolores gonna kill Teddy.
But at least she didn't kill him because we know he ends up, we're pretty sure he's that floating body in the water in episode 1.
But yeah, that's a result to her.
Which
I think that's definitely going to be a result of her.
Speaking of this whole timeline, where the hell are we in this timeline at this point?
We're still following the days leading up to episode 1 when they find Bernard on the ocean.
Okay, so my question is this going on around the same time with Maeve in Shogun World?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You think so?
Yeah.
So, and then when we had a flashback to see Bernard, going back to the beginning of the episode.
That was a flash forward.
That was a flash forward.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because that's why they're still looking for Peter Abernathy. And also, I feel like part of why they showed the flooded valley is to remind you everything's underwater right now. All the hosts are dead. But now there's this question because they're all these hosts are blank slates. How can they be blank slates? So after we saw what she did to Teddy, it's did she go and wipe all of these hosts' minds? Or did she create a bunch of hosts so that she could leave these fake bodies in the water for these people to find?
Yeah, but... Oh.
Because that would be brilliant. Because they're oh, there's all the dead hosts. Wait, these are all dummies. Where's the real hosts? And then that's when their army comes in and slaughters everybody.
I like it.
That would be awesome.
Paris says it's concurrent.
Yeah.
So, it makes sense.
Right.
I feel like we're talking a lot about the wraparound parts, but not as much about Shogun World, which is what we've been excited about for freaking a month.
Unbelievable.
Well, you really can't say anything because you fell asleep.
That is true. You fell asleep.
Very tired man.
Okay, so about Shogun World.
Can I just tell you my favorite scene of Shogun World is when, first of all, I love that the character, his name is Musashi, in case nobody caught that. Where is his picture?
Gummy bears. I just had to.
His name is Musashi, and in an upcoming episode of GUI, which airs on Tuesday, there's actually characters in their names Musashi, so I laughed very hard when I saw that name.
Great.
But he's a badass, and we literally saw him go 1 versus 3 in a sword fight, and he held his own, and he took him down. No other character was able to hold their own against the ninjas or the samurais.
Wasn't he the general?
He was the general of the Shogun's army before, so we know that, clearly he's a military guy.
Yeah, he has, the skills to be the general. As to why he's no longer the general, we don't know yet, but...
I want to see more of him. I like him.
Well, with them calling him a Ronin means he probably, defected.
Very true.
True. What do you guys think? What's your opinion on Shogun World on this episode? Something that HBO has been, pushing since the beginning of the season. Now that we actually have seen it, do you guys want to see more?
Mary Poopin said so did I. I believe that means he was also entertained by the fact that the name was Musashi, because he worked on that GOA episode as well. I'll say anything involving Maeve was awesome this episode. When she activated her translation skills just by learning about it.
Yeah, let's go down that rabbit hole real quick.
How much shit does Maeve have in her arsenal at this point?
I mean, can I just show that scene where she's mentally controlling the army at the end? I'm not going to show a lot, but just there's blood splattering around her, and she's just thinking for all of these guys just attack each other, kill each other, and you're just imagine what she can do now. And this explains why she couldn't control the wild men a couple episodes ago, because she wasn't speaking their language.
Well, can't they speak English? Wasn't one of them able to speak English? You mean the Ghost Army?
Well, we call them the wild men because we couldn't think of a better term.
Oh, they're called the Ghost Army.
Whatever. We like the term wild men, and that's what we're going with.
That's Game of Thrones. Or Wildlings or Wildlings. Anyway, I've always learned that the Ghost Army can't take orders, period. And is this something I can say?
Say it.
That they're actually protecting humans.
Oh, we had talked about that in an earlier episode.
Oh, okay.
That's a jazz theory. Let's take a jazz break.
Oh, gummy bears!
We miss you, Jazz. So Ghost Army. So that's what we have to call them from now on.
That's the term being used for them.
Once she can do all this telepathically, I mean, really, somebody commented here that she's a Bluetooth ninja. In the world of computers that this is, that kind of makes the most sense. And they're all connected by a network. That had been discussed, although the
network is down, so they have to be controlled. Okay, so what I don't get is, in certain episodes, they say the network is down, so they have to cut the risk and manually plug in. And other times, kind of like in tonight's episode, when they reprogram Teddy, he just used his tablet.
Maybe it's like AirPlay. If you're close enough, then you can connect.
But
I like that one.
But technically,
so she's an AirPlay ninja.
But technically, not Teddy, not Bernard. Technically, Bernard was close enough, and he still needed to plug in.
Maybe Dolores is the cause of the network being down, so that she can bring it back up when people are around her. I don't know.
See, I can't.
What do you guys think?
I can't remember at what point in the timeline they said network is down.
Or
is that during?
When he meets up with Elsie, they talk about the network being down, and that was
okay.
Present storyline, not future storyline.
Not Beach.
Yeah.
Okay. Man.
So what other topic points?
I mean, there's the Shogun's army. I loved all the samurai. I loved the whole look of everything.
I mean,
apparently Carlo didn't like anything about Shogun World, and is just ultimately disappointed.
No, it's not that. I liked Shogun World. I like the army. And I get why that... What was his name? The previous general?
Musashi?
Musashi was able to defeat so many people.
Was with his Sodoguremi.
Oh, that awesome weapon he had.
Yeah.
I mean, to show how strong he was. But they never really showed...
This episode wasn't about him, though.
No, it's not about...
He disappeared. We're probably going to see him later episodes, which means a lot more Shogun World.
it's not about him. I know it's not about him. My what I'm trying to get around to saying is they never got around to showing how epic and how much harder Shogun World was. Even Lee in the very beginning of the episode said, like, Westworld is nothing compared to Shogun World. Westworld is like a walk in the park.
Well, I'd say part of it is Westworld is all gun-based. And so it's a different kind of violence. It's more far-away violence.
Oh, but that last scene where she, like, does the wraparound cut of the Shogun's head,
yeah, when she
that
slices.
was natural Shogun World brutality.
That's the
I
thing.
think.
All the violence felt so much more visceral in Shogun World as compared to Westworld. Westworld was like, bang, you're dead. Shogun World was like, I'm not just going to kill you. I'm going to slice your head off.
Yeah. No, like from here. Slicing your head off usually happens here. She did it here. Dude.
Trying to go back, but going back a little topic about network being down. Paris makes a good point of in a world like this, if the network is down, technically speaking, does it really matter if you have Bluetooth or local Wi-Fi networks?
Why not?
I mean, if Bluetooth doesn't, the network can be down, but you can still connect if Bluetooth's available.
I thought that Mary Poopin made a better point about, because you brought this up during the episode. In Westworld, you get shot by a gun. It's like a paintball gun. You don't die when it's all working. How does it work in Shogun World if you get shot by an arrow or if you get stabbed by a sword?
That's very true.
Oh,
does it suddenly become a rubber sword when it goes into you?
That's true. What do you guys think?
That would be so funny if those things turned into like wet noodles as they're like trying to.
Like, how would they maintain the reality of that world?
Here's my other problem. Okay, so all those characters only speak Japanese, right? Who's going to Shogun World? Is it only Japanese people? Because apparently, how
no,
did they
because
work that?
Lee mentioned it in the very beginning when they first entered was he knew something was off because when he spoke English,
they didn't speak English back to him.
Exactly.
He did mention that.
He was like,
I was gonna say
caught something.
I know.
Subtle.
I was gonna preface that by saying please correct me if I missed something, but I didn't understand how a casual visitor of the park is supposed to make their way through Shogun World without getting absolutely decimated.
It was
within the first 5 minutes.
It was literally one line where Lee was like, "When I spoke English to them, and he replied back to Japanese."
They should have been.
He should have replied back in Japanese, but when he replied back in English. But when he replied back in Japanese, something was off. And then that's the reason why he was complaining to Maeve, we are fucked.
So, how are those guys in Shogun World then gaining slowly? They're showing the signs of gaining consciousness. So,
well, they said
how was that happening? Is it
the Shogun himself is not gaining consciousness? He's got the Bernard disease.
Yeah, he was leaking.
Well,
fluid out of his ear.
He was leaking the zombie fluid out of his ear.
Did he not just damage himself though? Because I thought the reason that Bernard is damaged was because he shot himself in the head. So that's why he's like broken. So he like broke himself a little bit. So now
But Elsie made it seem like that's something they've seen before. So there could be a number of ways that you get that kind of damaged.
Mary Poopin says maybe they swing and stop an inch away just to scare you enough.
Well, that would suck.
Well, I need an opener too. I've been empty. You just can't.
I'm almost done with my second one.
Oh, because this is such a
That
good
kind of
beer.
show.
I did good.
Yes, you did. Cheers.
Yay! All right.
What are you guys drinking tonight? Make a comment. We want to know.
I also really enjoyed the whole thing about the Shogun figuring out that there was a witch and calling Maeve a witch. And then he was just like, well, you're not going to infect anybody else. I'm going to straight up burn the ears off of all of my men.
That was so badass.
But it wasn't really all of his men because the other ones could still hear it. So it was just the daimyos, which are like his lieutenants?
Okay, my issue with them burning off the lieutenants is the fact that during that scene when they showed basically the lieutenants being... Is that an empty bottle?
Yeah.
When they showed that everyone, like Maeve and Lee and the Mama-san, for lack of a better term,
Akane?
Yeah, sure. Why not? When they were there, the general at the time was still able to say, bring them to their quarters.
Water and Diet Coke.
And they still understood what was going on.
That's what they're drinking.
Oh.
Good for you guys.
Way to stay sober on a Sunday. We don't do that.
No. I mean, was that just a plot point or a plot hole? Or did it really just...
Cool Kendall 23, what's up, back? Thank you for stopping by.
Okasan. Is that the name?
Okasan? Who's Okasan?
I have no idea.
Isn't that
I don't know
when
what Mary Poppins is saying.
Isn't that like a sushi thing where the chef like brings you his dishes of the day? You like pay a flat rate of $30 and here's like 6
I don't know. I'm
sushi
afraid
dishes.
of answering because I don't want to sound racist.
Just say it.
No, I literally don't know what to answer. And I feel like if I try to get something, it's going to come out and sound terrible.
No, it can't be worse than Sylvester. Fuck Sylvester in the face with this little comment. It was like, to
Felix?
To Felix. That was like, oh, dude, do you know what they're saying? He's like, motherfucker, I'm from Hong Kong.
All right.
So Sylvester keeps digging himself a deeper fucking hole, and he's gonna get it.
Wasn't this whole
he's
thing
gonna
his
get
fault because he was so horny?
Yeah.
Like,
Can I say this is one of my favorite
Yeah.
moments of the whole episode? When that arrow came between the two of them and the faces that they made, I laughed so hard.
Oh, that's omakase. Thank you. For $30, that's all you can eat sushi. Thank you for clarifying. That's why we do it on Twitch.
cheers.
That's why.
I need more beer.
Okay.
We haven't gone into that whole scene that they played out at the Shogun World version of Sweetwater, where they played
Paint It Black?
Paint It Black in the
great
flute
scene.
and completely did the whole heist scene.
When everyone's being let in, tied up.
Oh my
Yes.
god. This show is so good at attention to detail. It's ridiculous.
Speaking of her,
Armistice?
do we have a scene of them like looking at each other all lovey-dovey?
Oh, I loved it.
We do not.
No, but okay, so how come when Maeve was talking to her,
Akane. Her doppelganger.
yes, she didn't get all, I guess she did get all lovey-dovey.
Because Lee talked about how they should not be here because they should not be seeing their doppelgangers. He doesn't know how these hosts are going to react, how the programming is going to react to meeting each other. And this is why Hector hates Musashi.
Oh yeah, because he almost like knows if that was me, I'm not trusting that guy. Like he knew it.
Like Hector's just sitting there like, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
He's just super suspicious like, that guy's going to fuck us.
Because
that guy's going to get us.
Yeah, he kind of knows. He's like, if that was me in that position, I would be plotting to kill all these dudes right now. And that's exactly
But
what he said.
the difference in Shogun World, and Lee says it from the beginning, is there's
Honor.
a lot of honor here, and if you piss them off, they will come at you hard because you insulted their honor.
Yes.
And that is not as much a thing in Westworld. And I think that's what separates Musashi and Akane.
Is
from-
the honor. It's
Maeve
the
and
honesty.
Hector.
Yeah, it's the, you don't want to mess up with like their family name. You don't want to mess up with who they are per se.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in Westworld people just don't care. But
A
yeah,
lot of lesbian sexual tension in this episode. He's absolutely right.
Mary Poopin says, I thought someone would kiss during that scene. I thought someone somewhere would kiss during that scene.
I think Cool Kendall was making fun of our background.
I think
but I'm not
Snake
sure.
and Dragon Lady were doing a lot more than kissing during that ninja attack. You know what I'm
Oh, do you want
saying?
Wait,
You wanna
what?
show that again?
Which scene?
This one where they're like, "Hey, where are they?" And they're like, "Oh, we're right here."
Show him that one again.
It was like, yeah, while you guys are all fighting, we're just like walking down the stairs. We got like 3 upstairs.
Technically, the audio of that scene is they come down saying Sakura's been taken. They were upstairs fighting ninjas.
Might as well
But
be
you
like,
just interpret the scene however you like. I'm just saying.
Okay, it wasn't me though. I kind of wish that the ninjas did kill someone just to show how powerful ninjas are. I mean, they're fucking ninjas.
They almost killed a bunch of people.
almost is not actually killing, though. Like, if they were able to... They've never encountered ninjas before, and for them to...
They had Musashi on their side. They
Outside.
had Maeve, the superpowered witch with telekinesis.
Okay, what about the rest of them?
Lee should have died. I don't understand what took so long to choke out Lee.
Well, Lee didn't even get choked out.
Yeah, he did. They had the thing on his neck.
Yeah, but by the time the guy was like, "You're a witch," and he ran, Lee was still conscious.
But it's like, that's the thing. He was being choked for so long. I was like, how is he still alive? And it was almost like Lee was defending himself for a while. I'm like, how is this happening? Lee sucks. Mm-hmm. He shouldn't be able to do
He's
any
a
of
writer.
this.
Like, I don't think he knows how to fight. But either way, it's like to show that the ninjas didn't like complete anything. It's like, how strong are these ninjas actually?
They did come across as henchmen, I will say, in their ability.
Maybe they were foot soldiers.
Buddy.
Like, if I'm not mistaken...
Turtles in Time, baby! That was my favorite one. Feudal Japan, Turtles, favorite one. That's the best one.
All right, we need to change
Fight
this.
me on it.
We need to change this.
Oh,
Fight me
gummy
on that.
bears.
Alright, so what do you guys think? Any other topics you want us to cover tonight? Make sure to add it to the chat.
Well, Parese? I don't know how to say that name. But they pointed out it does actually take a long time to choke someone to death, even someone like Lee. So I could be wrong that it was the right amount of time. Maeve saved him just in time.
Okay, so going back to that scene where about the choking someone, fine. Takes a while. How the hell is Maeve having this telepathic powers to the other hosts? Because if Bluetooth doesn't exist,
No,
if local Wi-Fi
Clearly
network...
some kind of Bluetooth exists. It's the future.
Okay, but if that's the case, then there's so many plot holes that are just opening up. Why can't the programmer dude that reprogrammed or wiped Teddy do the same thing to Dolores?
It must be a network thing. That in the network they're speaking of is from the hub to the hosts, but there still exists this like interweb, so to speak, in the world itself,
And
that they could talk to each other.
Technically speaking...
Because then you should be talking about...
Technically speaking, in this scene, we don't see the cords. We don't see Teddy's hands.
Yeah, it's not manually...
So we could just not be seeing the manual connection into Teddy. They could have sliced open his wrist and plugged it. They could just explain it away that way. I know it's a cheap explain, but because they did it all in the close-up, and they did it so quickly, you never know.
True. Alright, I guess I'll give you that. I'm not happy about it.
Someone give us an answer, please.
Oh, can I say one of the more disturbing things in the episode, though it was a really cool-looking tattoo, was the cherry blossom tattoo.
Oh, yes.
But you did see the brand earlier in the episode when they're first attacking the Shogun World Sweetwater, and I was like, what's this hot brand for? Clearly that's what this is for.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a little disturbing that they spent that much time.
I've always...
And that's another example of the violence in Shogun World. They don't just brand you or burn you. They take the time to get that brand and intricately carve
I'm not gonna
a tree
lie.
on someone's
that
back.
would be a dope ass like brand scar tattoo ish. But in any case,
How's it going, Nick?
Wait, what's going on?
I can't handle people that think that like that thing was cool. That was cool? Ugh.
it's a scarification. Apparently to Paris, it's a scarification.
Good.
I'm just gonna say, okay, someone explain to me or remind me
Carlo thought it was hot.
what that butterfly in
That
the
was a
very
pun.
what that butterfly in the very beginning of the episode was about.
The butterfly that Hector saw?
Yeah, in the Zen garden area.
Do we have to go back and look at that again?
Yes.
The
Like,
butterfly.
can you
So at the end of this scene, he looks down and there's like a garden type thing, like a rock garden, and there's a butterfly kind of thingy. I think it's something that Hector has seen, and it's the first sign that that he has a doppelganger here, that somebody else has something that important.
But why is the butterfly important to Hector?
I don't remember. It might be a season 1 thing. We'd have to go back and look. Or if somebody online remembers.
If you guys remember what that butterfly was about.
Carlo's a
masochist.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
You should hear the stories about the man who goes to the hospital for eating crab, and he still every time we go to the restaurants wants to eat crab. Masochist. Couldn't have said it better myself.
The sad part is, as I'm not arguing with that topic.
Moving on.
Gummy bears.
Have we talked about any crazy theories or anything? Because I had one.
What's your theory?
Well, give me a minute. Talk for a second while I call up.
What about you? Any crazy theories?
Oh, wait, I'm ready. My crazy theory for the week really has nothing to do with this episode, but something I was thinking about during the opening credits.
Okay.
We've been thinking a lot about the woman holding the baby and how they changed the opening credits. Not the woman, the host holding the baby. Mm-hmm. And then they always end on the host that's being created in the thing, and it's clearly a female host. And they focus a lot on the hat. And the hat is a symbol in the show, a lot of the man in black. Mm-hmm. I'm wondering, mother and child, hat, female host being created, is there a chance that the opening credits are giving us a hint that it's not the man in black that's a host, that Ford was fucking with William by creating a host of his daughter? And that's why his daughter was there. And her first scene in the show was her trying to prove that everybody else was not a host, but she never took that test. The guy that she slept with never tested her.
So you think the daughter is a host?
And by the way, the name of the daughter is Emily. We know that now. But I'm now wondering, is Emily a host? Is that...
That's huge. Because I wasn't completely in on the man in black being a host theory, but the daughter being a host is, I think, viable. I think that could work. I hope that's not true because I don't want that to be spoiled because I would have been fucking...
That's why they're crazy theories of the week. I just throw stuff out there and then we let it go. We're not going to look it up. We're not going to confirm.
I don't have any theories yet, but do you think in the next episode are we going to stay in Shogun World or are we going to go back into what the Men in Black is doing in Westworld?
I think it is now it's been introduced. They spent a lot of time there. It's now a location. Now they can jump there whenever they want because they don't have to spend time introducing it. So they can do Bernard and Elsie and then jump to Shogun World. They can do Dolores and Teddy and jump to Shogun World.
They've mentioned there's 6 parks, right?
And we've seen 3.
So what are the...
Are we ever going to go?
In the original movie, I believe there's also a medieval world.
That would make sense.
I think there's another one.
Probably an Egyptian one.
Do you guys remember what the other worlds were? Hey, the one who walks through fire. What's going on?
Hey, the one who... Yeah, I had the same thought. Sorry.
I like how we really need a bigger screen for this chat. Yeah.
Hey, but we got...
He's like, either they're both or none.
Ooh, both of them? But that'd be crazy if they were both hosts. Be crazy for the audience. Well, it'd be crazy just all around if they both realized that they were hosts and they were both dead.
Because, well, if the Man in Black if William had seen Emily when we saw them at the end of last episode, wouldn't he have freaked the fuck out?
Unless he knew that she was there looking for him or she'd done that before. She'd gone to the park and maybe they had some arrangement of like, Westworld's mine, stay out. All right, I'll go to Rajworld.
Yeah.
But then when everything goes to hell, he's just like, okay, well, it makes sense. You came to meet up with me because the park is in chaos right now.
That works.
Yeah, because how long had she been in Rajworld?
Clearly she was an expert. She knew enough to how to look for hosts. She knew enough of how the story goes that she immediately knew there was something wrong and to survive, unlike that other idiot host that she was with. Mm-hmm. Not other hosts, other guests.
I've actually met that guy before.
Really?
Mm-hmm. He was on Make It or Break It on ABC Family as the head cook.
The one who walks through...
Name drop there.
I know. It's not... I mean, is it really a name drop?
You didn't use his name, but still.
I can't remember his name.
The one who walks through fire just says, is it just me or does Maeve's current group feel like a kid-friendly anime group? I mean, it's whatever. The most random people: a techno witch, a lab tech, a writer,
Techno
a cowboy, and a geisha. I predict next week she recruits a talking buffalo.
From the opening credits.
God, I hope.
That reminds me of Avatar.
That's what I was just thinking. And then they all jump on the buffalo and fly away.
The Last Airbender, not Avatar, Dave Cameron, but
The Last Airdrop Bender. We were just talking about airdrops.
Oh my God. Cut it. Cut it. Where's the cord? Where's the plug? Damn it.
yeah, a little bit. There's a little bit of everything. What are we missing out of that group just to make it complete?
Waterbender.
Who would be the waterbender?
I was making a stupid joke.
No, I'm just saying, like, who would really be a waterbender?
Never seen
Well,
Last
clearly,
Avatar.
Akane, in my mind, is going to join the group. Sakura, her daughter is dead. She has no reason to stay behind. Maeve already wanted her to join. She's going to go with them.
Okay.
How are they going to fight off this Shogun army? Is it all just... Because we already saw that. The show is all about upping the ante and making things cooler. We just saw her take down an army with her mental powers. Are we just going to do the same thing again? Because she grabs a sword.
We might see the limitations of what she can control.
Maybe.
Because she might only be able to control half the army. Now, that begs the question, because Akane, her daughter is now dead, right? Is that also foreshadowing Maeve's daughter being dead?
I had that thought. I hope it's not true, but I could see it happening. But then what does Maeve do once her daughter dies? Does she go after Dolores, or does she join forces with Dolores? Or does Dolores kill her daughter to be like, you should join me? Now you have nothing to tell.
Actually, I see that. I see that happening because that adds a twist.
Because now we know Dolores is going to go after hosts that don't join her because of what she did to Teddy. And clearly Maeve is not going to join her. So she may be like, fuck you, I'm going to go kill this daughter that you're all about. Either join me or I'm going to wipe your memory too.
I see that happening. I really see that happening because that adds more of a twist to the story. That adds more complications to the story. So I can see that happening. Where it's like they'll both reach the daughter at the same time. Because at the end of the day, we don't know where Dolores is really going. We don't know where Maeve's final destination really is.
Dolores is going for glory.
No, but
we know that.
At what location?
It's either to destroy the entire park's IP stuff, or
there's good comments coming up that we should talk about.
Okay.
Only that One Who Walks Through Fire is talking about how Lee would be boring without Maeve, and then he thinks that he's going to betray Maeve, or because he wants to get out. And then question is, do you think Lee has started feeling some sympathy or empathy for the hosts yet, or just for Maeve? Meanwhile, Mary Poppins is asking if Maeve would go John Wick on everybody if her daughter died.
Okay, time out. Can I just say, didn't Maeve, when they were arguing with Lee, didn't Maeve was like, you know what? You do you. Whatever. Just don't get in my way.
Yeah, she
Wasn't
gave
that
him
the
an out.
perfect opportunity for Lee to be like, you know what? All right, fuck all this.
I've
I'm
said it
gonna
before.
escape.
Now it's not just in Westworld. Now he's in Shogun World, which he already knows is violent as hell. Lee can't survive without her. So she knows she can tell him, go ahead, leave. And he's going to be like, okay, fine. And then stay. Like he's a dog on a leash. He can't go anywhere. That's why she brought him into the park.
But I do believe that next opportunity he gets to turn on them, he will take it.
Well, he did take that walkie-talkie thing from one of the...
Oh, yeah, that's fucking right. Yeah, he did.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, he's a total asshole.
I wouldn't say he's an asshole.
No, that dude's an asshole. That dude is self-serving, and he's just trying to survive, man. That's all he is. He doesn't.
What if Maeve makes a deal with the humans?
What do you think? Will Maeve make it? I don't think she's the type of person to make a deal with the humans. What do you see?
Ooh, the One Who Walks Through Fire is wondering if Bernard has potentially a similar power to Maeve, because he did similar to the drone hosts in episode 4?
I don't think so.
I
honestly
again,
don't think
I think he's capable of it. He won't do it, and I don't think he'll come close to knowing that he can do it because his intentions of the park are so different than Maeve's, or his motivation's so different.
I think
so. He'll never.
I think Bernard is too damaged to even realize. Even if he had the same powers of Maeve, I think he's too damaged to realize what he actually has to even take advantage of that. I mean, in the beginning of the episode when they were showing Bernard and he was just freaking out, he can't even hold a straight face in terms of the actual soldiers who is thinking of like, are you really on our side? Like, what's going on? Like, Bernard's still too fucked up.
I feel like he didn't do or really say anything in the beginning of the episode.
No,
he was just looking in like shock.
He was just looking at all the dicks.
No, that's what you were doing.
You were looking at it. You were the one that pointed it out.
Without my consent.
See, one who walks through fire agrees with me. She might make a deal with the humans to get her daughter out. But he doesn't think that she'd make a deal with Delos. Because Delos represents everything that went wrong.
But Delos is dead.
Not Delos the man, Delos the company.
And
we don't know for sure. We saw one clone body die. Not clone body. One host body of Delos die.
There might be more.
I wouldn't be surprised.
But they couldn't get it to work. That was the whole point.
Yeah, if you couldn't get something to work, wouldn't you try it in multiple locations under multiple different scenarios to try to get it to work?
I mean, they tried that one guy 149 times. So you're saying that there's replicas?
In 30 years, 149 times, to me, doesn't sound like that many times. So I'm wondering if maybe that one had 139 times, or 149, whatever it is. But there were other ones that also got tried a bunch of different times.
Interesting. I mean, could be. Unlikely. Could be.
I'm just hosting a bunch of different possibilities here.
Was that an unintentional pun? Or was that a potential intentional pun?
What?
Hosting?
Of course that was
all his puns are intentional, Carlo!
Someone save me. Save me.
Even this pun. Why is Shogun World not called Eastworld? If Westworld is called Westworld.
Don't say anything.
Yeah. Think about that.
I'm tapped out, man.
I give up.
Well, we're not out of gummy bears yet. Are we, Jen?
Oh, gummy bears!
How many times are you going to pull that clip up?
Too many.
Oh my gosh.
Alright, so do you guys have any other topics? I'm actually
I'm very Poopers is tired of the puns. So
fucking exactly.
I think at that point it's time to call it a night. Any other theories you guys have? Last quick minute ideas?
At this point, the show can go anywhere it wants. It did the Shogun episode. It did the episode the producers were excited for, where they spoiled a bunch of theories that we thought were going to be endgame. So now let's just sit back and enjoy the ride. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do the last 5 episodes.
Yeah, it just seems like the show keeps managing to raise the stakes every episode. Like when you don't think it can go anymore, they manage to do it.
Yeah,
I just hope
fall asleep.
And yet I still fall asleep. But I just hope that before the series is out, we get to see like you can do 3 more. You can do 3 more, even if they do like a chase through all the worlds. I'd like to see a few more worlds before this is out, because it does seem like we're at a very big tipping point in the show where the chickens are going to come to roost pretty soon. And
so you can do metaphors. I just can't do puns. Sorry, continue.
All right,
you know what?
I think.
I'm sorry, Mike.
Who's Mike? Sorry, continue.
I think that.
By the way, the one who walks through fire, one last question, is asking whether we think the hosts in the future timeline will get to the real world. Not the past where we saw Dolores and them get to the real world.
Will they ever escape? I don't think we'll see it
in this season.
I don't think we'll see it in this season.
Because they probably want to save something like that for
Yeah.
next season. They got picked up for season 3, so they got to save some things.
And as far as them being in the real world is concerned, I think we're going to see a lot of backflashes. Not something in the future, more of a...
I'm sorry, flashbacks?
Yes, thank you. Flashbacks. Where
I
something
don't know
a little
what
bit
Black
more...
Flash is.
I don't think he said Black Flash. What are you saying?
He said black. Did he not say Black Flash?
No, he said Backflash.
I thought he just
Wow,
moved
we
the
got
L. You're making it a thing. I thought he said Black Flash.
Carlo, finish your thought quickly before this goes down a bad path.
I think we're going to see a lot of flashbacks where instead of the Dolores, we might see another new character, another new host. Because if the world is as big as it is, I don't think Dolores is the only host, or even Maeve for that matter, the only two hosts that had that exposure. Or had that favoritism, so to speak. So we might actually be introduced to someone else.
I think it's a good thought to leave it on. Before we go, I do want to say that Addicted Media is releasing a new episode of our other show this week, Gaming Under the Influence, GUI. We're playing a new game, Captain Commando. Lucas will be in the episode as well.
With a terrible haircut.
Just make sure that when you watch the episode, look at his hair.
That will be posting Tuesday morning, so make sure to check it out. And then we'll be back here next Monday because of Memorial Day. We will not be posting on Sunday night, so make sure to tune in on Monday night.
Yep.
And then other than that, I'm Nick.
I'm Lucas.
So delayed. And my name is Carlo. Again, please subscribe, like, comment. Thanks for commenting. And if you guys have any ideas, let us know. And
by ideas, he means theories. We'd love to hear your theories and thoughts down in the comments.
Links of GOI and everything else will be in the description. Thanks for tuning in.
Have a good night, guys. And before we go, one last time.
Oh, gummy bears!